What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Read Reviews podcast, where we talk about movies, TV shows, and video games, and pretty much whatever the fuck we want to talk about. Cody and I have been on a bit of a run watching The Last of Us. We're just jumping right into it because Cody's got to go pick up his parents from the airport tonight. But we're jumping right into it. He actually came over tonight, and we watched an episode together, which is fun. I actually got the whole house. Yeah, 2 episodes. Yeah. I wasn't, like I was saying, I wasn't sure if you...
I double watched.
Yeah, Cody watched episode 3 twice today. Yeah, so Cody's watched 3 episodes of The Last of Us just today, and one of them
might
was
not
just
help,
back-to-back. Yeah.
Honestly, at times.
Yeah.
No, so, I think it was good. It was good.
Yeah, so we're going right into it. I got a little bit I want to talk about, but it's going to be a little weird because I think I might, since I'm going to be gone in Mexico this next week, I'm going to try to... It's going to suck because they're going to be short, but I'm going to try to split this up into 2 podcasts where I talk about kind of the shit that I watched and... Then we talk about The Last of Us, or we might just skip it. We'll just kind of see how it goes. But The Last of Us, episodes 3 and 4, because I kind of forget I don't know. Our recording we missed it because of the birthday stuff.
We last time was talking about like Oblivion, The Last of Us, and Warfare.
Yeah,
that's what we did.
Yeah, and that's right. That's why it happened, and we didn't end up talking about episode 3, and that's why we're doing 3 and 4 right now because we kind of skipped it. Because of the birthday. Cody and I had birthdays in the same week, so it was a really busy week. Ate a lot of good food. Yeah, so it was fun. But
a lot of Tomato Street.
Yeah, Tomato Street. Well, I went to Wild Sage, Tomato Street, and then last night Sadie and I went to a new restaurant called Loren. That was fucking amazing.
Nice.
So good. Kind of expensive. Not too bad, actually.
What kind of food?
It's technically French.
It's
a French restaurant. Yeah.
Fancy.
Yeah. Loren.
Nice.
I don't know how to do a French accent. I don't even know what that was. But yeah, The Last of Us episodes. Oops. Okay, we're good. I thought I had a mic fucked up. The Last of Us episodes 3 and 4. So we're already over halfway. 3 more episodes left.
Yeah.
You said that when we finished it just now. And I was like, damn, yeah, that
3
does
episodes
go real
left.
quick. 7 is so short. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you want to dive in with overall thoughts of 3 and 4? Do you want to talk about 3 and then 4?
Yeah, like we've already debriefed a little, like they were saying, which actually kind of helped me contain some of my thoughts, maybe. But overall thoughts, I can say
you're just doing both as a whole.
Yeah, I think kind of everything. Yeah, like how I feel, because this has been a roller coaster. I guess is every episode has just been kind of like, whoa, okay, oh hell yeah, zombie shit. Whoa, okay, this is wild. Now we're here. Oh hell yeah, more dope zombie shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit, waiting, we're going back into this stuff. So it's like, I would say there's really high highs and there's some really low lows. It feels like a show that's doing 2 completely separate storylines at once, and I don't know if it's meshing really well for me.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's not done. I'm going to keep watching and see it out. I'll say some of the worries I had at the start are definitely becoming more worries and more problems for sure that aren't necessarily, I don't see them getting fixed maybe. So I just got to kind of live with it. Stuff with some of the writing to do with Ellie is just she still feels like a child at times doing certain things where you're just like, why do you have to respond like that? Why do you have to have the snarky attitude 24/7 kind of thing? That stuff kind of is just that's being nitpicky, but
well, that can lead into my. And I'm thinking, at least the way that you're coming off, I'm thinking that I'm probably higher than you on the show. I just still think it's really good and I'm really enjoying it. And I don't have low lows. But the thing that I said up there when we were just watching this video is they're making Ellie a fucking dumbass. What I was saying, there was a certain scene that was happening that happened several times, I think, within the last episode and this episode. And I get what they're trying to do because they're trying to make Dina more relatable and people like Dina a lot more. By the way, one of the rare things, I think that Dina's actually better in the show than she is in the game. I like Dina a lot. But Dina is exposition mansplaining, quote unquote, if you want to say that, everything to Ellie. Yeah. Ellie is a fucking dumbass. She wants to just, and I get it, she's hothead Ellie, charge into things, she's supposed to just go in and do, but Ellie is still cool, calm, and cool and calm isn't the right word, but she's aware of what she's doing and she makes a plan and she's purposeful with things. And they literally have people just explain to Ellie what she's supposed to do all the time and how she's supposed to do it when it comes to fighting, when it comes to how you're supposed to react to certain things and getting help from people or how you're supposed to go about a certain mission or plan and being gung-ho, and just they make her seem like a dumbass, and it sucks because this is one of my favorite characters in movie or in just any IP ever.
Yeah.
And I don't like her as much in the show, and that's one of the things that sucks about the whole Joel stuff is that Pedro Pascal I think is a massive standout. He's just such a great actor, such an amazing Joel.
We've had
that's
two
a big thing.
Both like we've now had 2 episodes, 0 Joel. So like,
which
nothing,
is also weird.
Do you like? I guess in the game, is there a point where you ever get to like see him again by now?
Yes.
Oh damn! Okay,
Yes.
I didn't even know that. Oh,
yeah.
That's crazy. So they really are like.
Okay. Before again, doesn't really matter. Maybe we'll make this into a short and people will bitch at me because that's usually when people react and
party
say
time.
Stuff. Yeah, I know it is party time. We're just gonna let it go. But I might be wrong because like even though I've watched through this game a couple of times, I played through it a couple of times. It's still been years, so my memory might not be right. But by now, I totally thought we would have had some flashbacks because there's flashbacks of Joel.
Damn.
Like, and we have not.
Yeah,
no. And those flashbacks are so poignant to what like recovers you from the trauma that happens as you as a viewer watching it. They're so important to bring it back and be like, oh my god, the relationship just gets even. They're fucking amazing. I don't want to go into them because those flashbacks are so cool.
They'll probably still happen.
They better fucking. If they don't have flashbacks, dude, then then I will be mad.
You're gonna be
then I will be mad
pissed.
because those flashbacks are so special and important to me when playing through that game. They're doing little touches and nods to it to where they're like referencing certain things. There was stuff in this last episode that we watched when she's talking about astronaut stuff. You won't understand this most likely, but there's astronomy stuff and space stuff that she mentions, which is a touchstone to a flashback, which is fucking so cool. It's so cool in the game. So that one I think does happen a little bit later. I don't know. Like I said, I can't remember what happens where, but yeah, the fact that we haven't had a flashback yet, 2 episodes after Joel dies.
I guess. Do you think?
Surprising.
Are they just like? I don't know, so I'm just kind of asking you. I guess what you would think, but like, is it purposeful to just hold this off to be like, let it sit and simmer and sting that moment? Really?
I guess, but I don't know. I don't like it. I don't hate it. It's whatever. I will, like I said, I will if they don't.
It's like we're not.
I'm
done.
sure they will. I'm sure they will. But
there in my mind as a like person who doesn't know what is to come still. There's no way this season ends without seeing Joel again. Like there's no way.
That would be bad.
Because I truly think you would lose so many people.
So and I don't
so many.
And I don't know much about this. I've only seen like maybe 1 snippet or 2 snippets, like just a random Instagram page with like a headline or whatever. The things I didn't dive into because I didn't want to. I don't want to be part of the hate and all the bullshit. But I did mention it when we were watching up there that apparently this is getting review bombed already, which is what happened to the game too.
There's vehement fans.
Yeah, I know. The people are just fucking insane. It's okay to to be upset with things and not enjoy where they're taking the story, but to literally ruin, to me, an objectively like good production and good IP and thing that they're creating and doing is just you're just a fucking asshole. You're a shitty person. Don't go review bomb stuff. Like that's just dumb. But yeah, apparently it's already getting review bombed and people are already absolutely shitting on this thing and mangling it and saying like the viewership is tanked off, the ratings have tanked, all this different stuff. It was like I said, this was from 1 maybe 2 Instagram little headline things I read, so I don't know the extent of it, but like you were just bringing up that it's gonna lose a lot of people. It seems like it already is, and it's I don't know where it's gonna go.
Like I said, that like it would be the ballsiest. Not even ballsiest, probably the stupidest move is to be like, we're not going to show Joel again until potentially season 3, which would be just like, holy fuck. I don't know. That's kind of crazy, but yeah. Like episode 3, I'm trying to like now think in my head since we just watched it all. It's all
hard when they're mushed together. It's basically 3 and 4 are just going to mush into 1 episode. That's just how it's going to be. 3,
well, I guess where does 3 end?
I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, I think they're getting into Seattle. Yeah, it's like...
Are they just getting into Seattle?
Yeah, like officially getting there. But like in the end, all this to like kind of say like, I'm trying to recap the episodes because for me, I'm now sitting in the show as I'm watching and I'm always just like, when people are talking, sometimes I'm cued in depending on who it is or what the scenario is. And like we got new characters with the... I guess I don't know what to call him. What's like the new? Are they wolves? The like Jeffrey Wright character.
WLF.
I think if that's the actor.
WLF.
The WLF. That stuff was sick. I thought like some cool twist with like he's a part of the squad acting like the leader, and then all of a sudden he literally fucking tosses grenades into the truck to kill them all.
That's a new scene.
And like that was pretty sick. And I was like, holy shit! All right,
good way to introduce. You do get introduced to Isaac. I don't know if it's introduced or, but like one of the first things you see Isaac, the leader of the wolves, is him torturing somebody like that. And that torture scene was
that was good. That was
good stuff.
Another really good scene. I thought.
Oh my god, sorry, I was trying to take notes. I got to start taking notes so I can come back to things when like I want to say something on there. But okay, big change in the game in the show compared to the game. Why I was so confused and why I was asking, I was like, wait, did that say 3 months later? I thought this was saying 3 months earlier. Why I was so confused. It's like, we just jumped 3 months? Mm-hmm. That's really weird because the whole thing in the game is like Ellie and Tommy come back. And again, Tommy's the one who's in the room with Joel when that shit happens and not Dina. So that adds a different aspect to this too. So I guess that's something to take into account. But if I'm trying to remember correctly because it's hard. But Ellie and Tommy come back and they kind of have that conversation that they do in the show where they're like, if this had happened to you, Tommy, Joel would already be halfway there or whatever. And he's like, and he says something different in the show than he does in the game. But I think in the game he's like, you're right, because she's like trying to convince him to go with her to go save Joel. And this is like a couple days after that happens, maybe the next day, possibly. I don't know exactly. Again, correct me if anybody can. So that's why I was like, that's why I was so jarred by the 3 months later. I was like, wait. The whole point of this, the whole craziness, them voting to like have a party go and invade them and attack them was crazy. That's not something that's in the game. I was like, that would be super interesting and wild.
Another thing with the show, now knowing that that's not in the game, I thought it's funny to watch the whole town vote for like, hey, we're gonna send a group of 16 of us out to go scout this and potentially execute the people. They all vote from the council. It's an 8-3, like a majority win for a no vote.
Yeah.
So nobody wants them to really do it because that's like way too many resources, and we just can't sacrifice.
And agreed.
That. And it's like
agreed. I think that makes all the sense.
And then now the logic though of being like, well, I guess me and Dina are just gonna go do it, and it's like,
well, what happens in the game? What happens in the game is Tommy and Ellie have that conversation. Tommy's like, no, we're not doing it. We're not going. We're not doing this.
Yeah.
The next day, they wake up. Tommy's gone. Okay. Tommy went and did it anyways. So Tommy was leading the charge. We'll see if this happens in game. If like maybe he did that. In the show. See if maybe he did that. I guess. Spoiler. Sorry, I didn't even think about that like that. But potential spoiler. But he's there. He leads ahead of them and he goes. And then Ellie and Dina go out. Same scenario like they do in the show. But it's just so weird to do the 3 month jump because like the whole thing about... And that just goes into Ellie's character and like in the game and how it is. She's impulsive and like they try to show that in the show but like in a different way and like dumb little things rather than... I don't know. It's hard. I'm not good at explaining and expressing these things. But like it just... I don't know. It didn't make as much sense to me in the show the way that it went down. That's why I was so jarred by the time jump.
Yeah.
It was just...
To talk on the time jump too, I think like I was saying earlier upstairs, but like the pacing at times is like crazy.
Does
so that's way faster. Another thing about when you're playing the game, you are spending more time with the character. So some of these moments and things feel way more natural because it's progressed over like 8 to 10 hours versus 3 to 4.
Yeah.
That's a doubling of the time and it does make a huge difference for a story. And it's like,
we talked about that. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it's like there's some moments with like, obviously we're now hitting a romance angle between two of the main characters. And it's like, it is really it's going fast now. Like in these 2 episodes, we've gone from they kissed, they acknowledge it. They're like, oh, I don't know if it was anything. To now they literally talk about being parents together.
Dad.
Literally saying, I'm going to be a dad, which just felt so weird. It felt really, really weird. It's hard to buy.
Them banging happens in, like, when... Okay, so this is going to get complicated, but when Ellie and Jesse are in the weed place,
yes,
it's Dina and Ellie in the game, and that's where they bang for the first time. Okay. Way earlier. And so then they come along,
Yeah,
and then all this stuff in the theater happens.
Some of the choices with showing how their relationship is going has been like, okay, that's kind of hard to buy. Which, yeah, I don't know. That was kind of my worries where I'm like, this still kind of isn't working. But in the end, the zombie shit is awesome.
And that's the thing that sucks is even to hear you say that, not like your opinion or anything, but it sucks to hear you say that because The Last of Us and same with The Walking Dead, the whole point of these The Last of Us, I don't think does it as well, but the Last of Us isn't about zombies and the infection. That's the whole point of it. That's everything. Yeah. And so to hear you say like, "Oh, the zombie stuff is fucking sick," and I want there to be more zombie stuff, and that's what people said in the beginning of from last season too, which I get it. That's totally understandable. You know, you go in people saying it as a zombie show, an infected show. But that's not what it is. Like, the first game is a story about Ellie and Joel and the evil of humanity and, like, love and building a relationship. This game...
Well, this season. That's the story of the game.
Yeah, you're right.
But the game is a zombie game.
Yeah.
I think that's the hard part for me, is knowing...
You're right.
Like, it's that just... When I'm playing, I get to play, like, a sick-ass zombie game, and then I get all the extra stuff. And it's like, fuck me, I want more zombies. I can't... I think I'm like trying to hold myself back from wanting to say it because it sounds like the dumb thing, like a cop out, like, oh, just give me more zombies. But at the same time, the zombie stuff is so good usually.
It's so good.
I'm excited when I know it's happening because it's like, yeah, we get another, like the episode 4 in the train area or the subway station or whatever was awesome. That was really fucking cool. It was really well done. It was super tense. It looked awesome. Like all the zombies just look super scary and like super threatening and feel like when they're like throwing big groups and hordes at them, which I really like. That's just like chaotic.
Yeah. World War Z-esque.
Yeah, and just like that's been some of my favorite parts still is when it gets down to like survival stuff. I think my brain just has I disconnect so much when it's like I said, we spend like so much time talking about like our feelings and emotions at times, and it's like, cool, we're in the zombie apocalypse. I thought we were on a like revenge kill mission.
That too, because I think I said this in one of the other episodes we did, is that the first game is about love and relation and like building a relationship with someone. This one is about loss and revenge and coping with grief and cyclical violence. And I do feel like they're taking a bit more, and it's weird to say in a show that's this fucked up, but I do feel like they're taking a more positive tone in the show than the game. Just with the way that they're going about things. It's a lot more about the love and relationships that she has with Dina and with Tommy. And, you know, that stuff is nice. It's, you know, it's a bit more uplifting and positive and, you know, like uniting. But, like, the game is just so fucking dark, and it is all about just endlessly killing and never stopping. And they pick at that. They insinuate it a little bit. There's moments that I do see. Because like,
the show does get super like grotesque at times and nasty and dark. Like these episodes had moments where like in the tense, like very video gamey hide and shoot, like get away from the bad guy moments.
Walking into
like,
the scars being hung.
Yeah, exactly. That like seeing the bodies,
the torture.
Yeah, like all of that stuff was really nasty, and it's like, oh damn, this place is fucked up. And so I feel like it still bothers me when they still treat the characters as they go in with this whole like ho-hum, like we're the heroes, we can do it all. It's like, no, you know how to be smart and survive. And
Ellie doesn't.
It's like, that's crazy to me. It's like, why are
Dina
we
does.
dumbing down certain characters just for the sake of it? Like Ellie needs to be and feel a lot more badass, which I think will probably be the angle, is to maybe build and see a more of a progression of that from her like snarky just like attitude.
At least for me, it's not supposed to be like she's supposed to already be that, and you get that and learn that from flashbacks.
Exactly. Like
she's supposed to already be that from the first game and from the flashbacks. That she's supposed to already be Ellie final boss level.
That's what I said in one of the earlier ones, was like, we just skipped 5 years in time. So she went from 14 to 19, living half a decade in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
And we've already watched the other crazy shit that just happened to her prior. So like, this girl's seen a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
And some of the like, just the like, haha, it's no big deal, we can joke around about it. I just, no, you can't. I don't see how that's possible when you know how serious all of this is. Like, to have this not like, I don't know. That's always probably going to be my biggest gripe, is some of the like writing choices of just like people feel stupid and like they just don't understand the severity at times, and it feels somewhat conflicting with characters, like I said, where it's like, hey, aren't we on like a revenge mission in the middle of the zombie apocalypse? And yet now we're spending the most intimate like moment time with like the characters, which in your highest stress scenarios brings your people closer and closer, definitely. But again, like the only moments we're getting to see, I think, are like these monumental moments in a relationship. I don't think we've seen a lot of the breadcrumbs to get some of that along the way.
And those breadcrumbs in something like a game that is a lot more drawn out and a lot longer, which is like we said is going to be a problem. These are the moments that you have when like you're playing the game and you and Dina are sitting on the horse. Right, you get the boat moments from God of War.
Yeah, where like you lightly control like maybe a direction of where you're going, but you just sit there and it's passively you're just like listening to them just kind of talk.
Yeah, and watching it in a show format, and it has to be like this. You can't make you can't make it as long. You just can't.
Yeah, it's impossible.
It's a hard task to take, and they did. It's a little bit easier to do with the first game because the first game was just so much more. So much shorter and more concise. With this second game being so much longer, it's going to be a lot harder.
This second game was just bound to be an endeavor of its own.
Like we already do just because of the Joel shit.
This was bound to be a harder task than Season 1. Season 1 was such a shoo-in to be like, you just follow it, you're going to hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
And they did, and it worked really well. And people loved it. And this one, like you're saying, like, they're definitely taking a lot more creative liberties at times, it sounds like, compared to Season 1, like with differences from the game at times. And we still haven't seen it all the way through, so maybe those moments come later, but it's like even the shifting of where things happen can drastically change how you feel about it.
It definitely is a bit jarring for me to watch and like try to follow, being as somebody who quote unquote knows what happens, and I'm watching, I'm like, oh wait, that didn't happen. But then it's like, oh, they just did it here. I'm like, okay, so that's weird. That's fucking up.
I do think it's interesting to get like to see your reaction knowing the game stuff and being like, just knowing even if they show these moments, it's at a different time and it has a different impact just because of where you're showing, when in the timeline you showed it, which could hit harder or might not. I don't know. I like still got to finish this out. So
let's talk about Bella Ramsey again, because it's just gonna be something that's important. We're gonna talk about. And dude, it's not just, and I'm starting to really realize this, because it's not just a you and me thing or like an angry internet thing. It is. And I know, and I'm not talking shit about the way she looks. I'm not making fun about the way she looks. She just doesn't look like Ellie. And it's not and I know we talked about this last time, but it's not like you try to not just join the like mob of people that are shitting on it on the internet, like I was talking about, and not be the assholes. But it does just bother me. And it's like regular people. Like, I'm not going to say names, but like certain people I know that are watching it, and they're like, this is just distracting. It distracts me. I didn't even play the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she still looks like she's 12.
I saw the message we got from one of our friends right after watching these episodes probably, and saying, man, there's just some moments where they hit you with a shot and you're just like, whoa.
You're like, dude, and they're just so tiny. They're such tiny little girls. They're so tiny.
Yeah.
But it's not like just a one-off friend. It is, I would say, all of my friends that are watching it, and all of the people that I see that I maybe don't talk to regularly that are watching it, that make posts on social media. And then there's like the hate mob people online that are just fucking being assholes. Yeah. But it's just, I don't know, it does throw me off. And that sucks, because I actually think Bella Ramsey does a great job at performing. Like when she has her moments, when she has her monologues, and when she has to show emotion, which is like what you're saying with the Joel scene fucked me up. I thought she did amazing in that. I thought that her speech in the hall in the council meeting, I thought that was actually really good. It sounded like somebody who was reading off of a piece of paper, who was like, it's gonna sound a little monotone and not sounding like herself. And I was like, oh, this makes sense. I believe she does a really good job at what she's given. I just don't buy her.
I think episode 4 had probably my favorite Ellie scene, with her having to show up with like the moment of showing her secret to Dina, to be like,
don't fucking shoot me.
She sacrificed her arm in front of the zombie very clearly to save Dina from getting bit, and was like, I'll take the brunt because it doesn't matter. And then now has to be like, Dina's immediately guns on her, like, what the fuck, I have to kill you.
And she's trained for.
And I actually thought that was my favorite moment I was the most into it and actually believing like her performance of like,
it's like, what the fuck?
Like, whoa, like as soon as Dina's like getting closer, she's like, I swear to God, if you like shoot me and kill me right now, like the moment of human panic to be like, oh my God, I don't know if I can convince this person. Like, like anything I say right now is almost worse. But like, I really like, I think she convinced a good, like, I am doing everything I can to try to convince you here. We're going to take this easy for a second. And then we even said like, just show her the other bite.
I was going to say that it doesn't ruin it. I almost said ruin it when I was going to bring this up a second ago, but like, and then they, kind of
They did touch on it.
But they do it in kind of a dumb way where it's just like, let me go sleep in this chair, and when I wake up, if I'm not a zombie, don't shoot me.
Yeah.
It's like, just the fucking... Like, do this, or like...
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I said, she did cover up her scars, so I guess you can't do that.
I think they did that.
She burned her one bite, and she cut her other bite.
Yeah,
so
they did it. They did the sitting in the chair thing, I feel like, just to get the scene of her, like, getting the water on her face so she could wake up and be like, like,
zombie.
Like zombie-esque. So it's a moment where Dina has to be like, oh my god. So, and other than that, it does, like, I still thought that was a good scene. Like, credit where credit's due.
This is still a good show.
Dina does a lot of heavy lifting at times, I think, where, like, she's putting up a good performance, and I really like what her character does. I think it's still interesting, and they can still explore this in good ways, but like I said, it is hard to buy chemistry at times between the two, and it's just
because it moves fast.
It's been so fast paced and rushed. It feels like that. It is hard for me to be like, okay, these two are like, how long have they known each other? Like,
they've known each other the whole time. Since they got to Jackson 5 years ago.
Okay, so like 5 years.
And it is insinuated and touched in the show. I will say that Ellie has always had a crush on her, and Dina does say that before she knew.
Yes.
And Ellie has dated Kat and whatever, and like you see when Ellie looks at her,
I think,
but still coming to like, oh, I'm gonna be a dad. We're all having a baby. It's like, oh, okay.
I still think it comes back to the whole like we really just haven't had a flashback moment, which feels weird to be like, I want a flashback moment.
Yeah.
But the things I'm complaining about, I think I wouldn't be if there was a flashback moment just showing me the first, like, an early moment of Ellie and Dina when they're being more like just getting to know each other, truly just getting to know each other, just to see it, so I have that context at a time where it's like, in my mind, the first time they meet is still kind of the first time I even met Dina.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's really hard to get on board with some of it.
Yeah, and I wonder if I buy it more just because of the games. It's hard to like not have that perspective when you do. So like I see it and I get it, but that's because I've played a 30-hour game where they have built that up, and I know what happens and where they lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's so weird to have a complaint in an IP that is The Last of Us, where like the character building just isn't quite there. Like we need. Character building, the background, the story, and like building up to what we are and where we're at.
Yeah.
And in the Last of Us, which is like so amazing at that, to like be complaining about that in the show a little bit, it's like, oh man, that's you dropped the ball a little bit when it comes to something like that.
Moments that I think are supposed to be hitting different than how I'm feeling them, like the whole end, like getting to the I'm pregnant, and then they fucking make out and bang in that little...
Yeah, which is weird because they bang and then she figures out that she's pregnant because she was with Jesse before, and that leads to also like not her going back to Jesse again because they go right after everything happens. Yeah. So it's like that just changes the dynamic of everything.
Yeah, like I just was like, I can just remember my initial reaction when that happened, and they were like, she's like, I'm pregnant, and kind of realizing like, and you're not a zombie, holy shit. And then they go for it, and I was just like, whoa, okay, here we go. And then they wake up and we're talking about the whole like, we're like, she's pregnant and like being parents and stuff, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? We have totally sidetracked from the initial plot line now.
Yeah, it does feel like they are focusing more on the relationship of Ellie with the people around her, as opposed to focused on, which the game is so centered on, like, I'm going to Seattle to kill this lady named Abby, to avenge Joel, and I don't see anything else, and that's the only thing I'm doing.
Yeah, like even in one of the episodes, like I think it's episode 3, where Abby does like it feels like the scene goes on for so long, but the cookies scene where she brings the cookies to tell her like, yeah, she's like, oh, I know you're gonna be mad because I withheld telling you the names. I know the names of the people and kind of have an idea of where they are.
Yeah, and that's obviously an added scene too, because in like, Dina's not there. Yeah. It's Tommy and Joel. And then I think, God, it's hard. I hate to have to keep saying I think, but I think that like Ellie knows their names and knows like who they are because she sees it when Abby kills Joel in the room and everything. She doesn't just come in completely blind. I don't know though. I might be totally wrong.
Well, Dina's given her the names, and she's finally like, Ellie's like, which one had the braid? She's like, Abby.
That wasn't
like whispers it to herself, like very much like that's the moment she's set in stone, like I now have my plan. And then that is kind of what they do. Like they show her hold up in the house for a second, getting all her gear ready, trying to be secretive. Dina obviously knows and is like, what the fuck, I'm gonna go with you. make sure you're safe, and it's better to go with more than one of us. But like, I just, I'm so up and down. It's hard for me at times, but like the zombie stuff brings me back every time. Every time I'm like, damn, that stuff hits really good.
Yeah,
really good.
Like keeping you in on it. I mean, and at the end of the day, like this is what's so hard about when we talk about just like review things, because you're gonna break down the things that bother you more than the things that you love, and that's just the way it is. Like, I still
torture scene dope. New characters with the wolves and WLF and stuff dope.
The scars.
Yeah, like new factions, pretty cool. I'm liking that stuff.
Their factions in this shit is so cool.
So I think, I hate to say it, but it really was what we were saying in like first episode, where it's like, ooh, stuff with Ellie right now is just kind of like,
it's still keeping.
It's like
sucks,
and then once we go to
crux.
once we go to everything else, it's like, ooh, hell yeah, like this is the juicier stuff or something. Or like making Jeffrey Wright's character immediately just like a standout in these episodes of like, this guy doesn't fuck around.
Isaac.
No nonsense. Yeah, Isaac.
The leader of the wolves.
You get two very cool scenes with him doing the blowing up of the truck, and like that's a cool setup of how to introduce him.
We talked about this upstairs, but Josh Peck.
Josh Peck.
Military guy. Yeah. That was super random. That was fun.
Tons of Drake and Josh references while we were watching.
Yeah. So we could dive into those a little bit, because that's one of the coolest things about the second game are the factions that they make. So the wolves, from what you've seen and what you've watched, what have you gathered? What are the wolves? You probably don't have enough for it. But I just want to see what you think.
What's the what Western?
I forget it. Or it's like Washington Legion Frontier or something. I don't
They're an organization in my mind that's just like, I don't know. We've gotten breadcrumbs.
Being a Fedra guy.
Do you
remember even what Fedra is?
Dude, not really.
Fedra is like the secondary military government that took over after the apocalypse happened. And in the first game, Joel and Tess, I think, are living in Boston, where Fedra still controls the city, and they're like a military government organization that is like a knockoff of what the U.S. government actually was. Okay. So Fedra was all around these cities, and some cities got bombed, some didn't, and Fedra took over. Yeah, go ahead, actually.
I guess, it just feels like some sort of other form of a resistance, like, group that came out and was like, fuck it, we're doing it our way. But their way is still, like, heavily civilized, heavily militarized, like, get in unison, get in line. We've got a job to do. We don't really care who they are or what their purpose is. It's survive or don't.
Yeah.
Like, we are just here to make sure people know we are a threat and don't fuck around with us. We have tanks and armored vehicles.
Yeah.
And we've got lookouts all through the city, and we've got we saw them on the lookout, like looking, and their shit's getting bombed in that place they're supposed to go.
They got legit military.
Like, they are full on, like, blowing shit up.
And if you think about it, when Dina and Ellie are talking about it, they're like, oh yeah, we can go kill this small group of people or whatever.
Yeah.
So the thing, you go there and you're like, oh, this is an army.
Yeah, and even then I'm just thinking, like, that just goes to me where I'm like, okay, that was are people still dumb enough to think like, oh, we're going to follow this group of people and maybe they're only like twice as big when they get back to their home base?
Yeah.
No, like, look at the city you're in. You're not telling me there maybe are other places that have more than, like, a lot of people, or have at least organized groupings of people. The cannibals in the last season, shit, that was actually a good sized group of people that were organized for a fucked up reason and still willing to, like, hell yeah.
But not only do you go in there and find out that the wolves are bigger and heavily armed, but there's a whole second group of freaky ass people.
Yeah.
The scars, and then you have infected also.
Yeah.
So how much did you gather and what did you get out of the scars? Because the scars are super interesting. They're one of the coolest factions in this game.
So they're like, okay, so you've got, in my like Peabody brain, you've got the super heavy military guys all geared up. They're the dudes. That's the wolves. And then you've got like your nature people, like, and they're very like idolized of the prophet.
Yes.
And that's like their god. They look up to her. She is everything. They literally are willing to risk their lives.
Some think she's magic. Some think they're
like it's
heretics.
A very supernatural-esque, very spiritual, very one with like just. Like, nature is a simple word, but like they obviously are using like everything at their disposable, at their like everything around them with the whistling commands and knowing
so
like
cool. And them in the game, like for those of you that haven't played the game, it's so cool and so scary when you're fighting them because you're like tucked down and ducked down in these bushes, like trying to sneak up on them and fight them. But they are so quiet and different than other enemies, and you hear them just do a little whistle this to another one, and then another one will like come up behind you or something. They'll like, and they talk by whistling, which is so fucking cool. And they're called the Scars because they.
One thing I've seen and I know for a fact is like the amount of clips I've watched over the years of the second game being out where it's just like they put no HUD on for like kind of an immersive experience. Yeah. And man, when it's just Ellie going in and killing people and like going on a tear, it is like brutal. Like it is brutal. Real. It is like the animations, it blows my mind when you watch it how good it looks. The animations are so fluid. And you can do so much, like so many cool things that just all don't look like a video game. It looks like a goddamn movie when you're playing it. Mm-hmm. And it's funny when we have a TV show and I'm not feeling that, like at least with our pivotal main character, Ellie, I'm not feeling that like any of the oomph behind any of her hits. I guess it's like she even got into a tussle with that one dude.
Yeah, when she went up the stairs.
And I guess they got away with her getting him in a quick chokehold. And I'd hate to say it, that guy could easily just fucking toss her. Yeah. Easily. And it's just all right.
Yeah, it sucks.
All right. Yeah. So.
Because it's not something they can help or control. It's not like they can just make Bella Ramsey.
Yeah.
6 inches taller.
Yeah.
40 more pounds.
Just another thing. I'm always going to sound like I truly do hate it. Which I don't hate it, but I'm trying to find ways to want to love it, and it's pushing back.
Yeah,
it's kind of pushing back.
You don't have just because you don't love it doesn't mean you hate it. You know.
Yeah, I do say,
but it is something that comes out and you notice while you're watching it.
Yeah,
and it is distracting. It takes you out of it, and it sucks. But I don't know. The factions are super cool. So the wolves are basically like an offshoot of Fedra, not an offshoot of Fedra, but like. You see when Isaac drops the grenade in the truck in there. Like, that is people breaking off from Fedra and seeing how fucked up it is and creating their own group called the Wolves that steal all the resources from Fedra and fight Fedra. You know when Ellie says that, like, it looks like these Fedra people fought each other.
Yeah.
Like, it's the Fedra people fighting each other.
Yeah.
And this is the offshoot, and this is what comes out of a military organization that takes control of everybody. And then the military organization fights itself. And then guess what it turns into? Another military organization that does the same shit, but they just thought that they did it different.
Just a cycle.
It's just an endless cycle.
Yeah,
and you'll see later, it gets really cool. All their shit is, all the factions are so cool and so well built out. In this, and it's fun.
I'm excited for that stuff too. I think that's where the show has at least the benefit of like, if you just put, I don't know, are they front loading? I feel like we've done a lot of talking in these 4 episodes too. Like there has been a big battle in Jackson. We had that, and then we've had our zombie scenes. But then in between, it is just like kind of just talking for talking's sake at times. Where I'm just like, oh man, I just want us like to pick up at times, which.
It's hard though because it already feels like it's going too fast. So it's like
it's conflicting. I'm like, what? I'm telling myself it's too fast. Yet I'm like saying the opposite at the same time. So I don't even know what to ask.
You don't know what you want out of it.
Yeah, it's like I don't know either. But
it's not what you should be.
But all I do know is that season 1 just felt way more natural in the end, as of right now. Which I'll just keep saying that until we finish season 2, and then who knows if it'll change. But
I don't know, man. Only 3 episodes left is going to be interesting to see what they can fit in. I mean, I guess at this point, like, it does feel a little quick, and so like, only being 3 more episodes, now I'm a little bit worried. I'm like, oh god, are they going to be able to fit in what they need to? Like, where is this going to leave off and like go into the second or into the 3rd season? I don't know, man. But at the end of the day, I do like I was saying before, I do still like this show quite a bit. I think it's really good. I think it is a massive drop off. It's 4 episodes. I think it's a massive drop off. Actually, I think it's okay to say that because it's over halfway through the season. I think it's a massive drop off from the first one, from season 1. Does not mean it's bad because I thought season 1 was like top tier television. So definitely doesn't mean this is bad. I still like it quite a bit, but I don't know. It's just harder to follow and it's different. And this is always going to be weird with all the gay stuff and all the hate and everything that's going on. We were talking about all the gay relationship stuff either that people are bashing this thing for too, and like just people are just going to come out in droves. And now that it's already started, it's just going to keep compiling, especially as the episodes come out. So The Last of Us, unfortunately, with season 2 and 3 of the show and the second game, it's going to be a contentious thing, and that's just how it's going to be. It's going to make it fun to talk about.
Yeah, it is like a really hot thing to talk about because it's got a lot to talk about at times. Like, it's a fascinating show. I like you said, I'm still entertained watching it because I still sit there and I'm just like, what is the next scene gonna be? Like, where do we go after that? We just had intense zombie fight. Now we're gonna talk about like feelings and emotions really deeply for 15 minutes. Okay, that's fine. It is a bit of a like, ugh. And then we're gonna go into just like travel montage for 10 minutes, and it's like, all right, fine.
Their whole traveling to Seattle, they don't come across anything.
Literally, they're just there.
Like,
nothing happened.
That's
like, I don't know that thing to me is where you're like, you have all that time, you could just do anything that's like a cool set piece moment and just toss them into something. And then now I have more context. If you show me like Ellie doing something really badass in there that's just cool for cool's sake, might actually lift it up a little bit.
Make sure we're being smart and thinking something out and like figuring out how to take down some sort of zombie.
Show them being intuitive on the way there. That way they don't get there easily, and it feels like they're bumbling idiots now that they're there.
No, it's just Ellie. Dina just tells her how to do everything.
True, yeah. Or like, how is just Dina the only one now who it totally feels like it should be Ellie who's the smart one and Dina who's the one bumbling around behind her.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of
very
reversed.
Yeah, it's not ideal, and it's interesting. So so this is a big one here. So the scene where Ellie's playing the guitar, guys, everybody that I watched this with hasn't played the game. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Dylan. Yeah, none of the people that I watched this with just now had played the game before. So there was a guitar scene. I mean, obviously, hopefully you watched this episode, but there's a guitar scene where Ellie and Dina go into a guitar shop and Ellie's playing a song and it's Take On Me, and like. You guys were laughing a little bit. You're like, "This is weird." And she sits down and she starts crying. I'm like, I get why you guys think that, but like, there's a thing that happens in the game that hasn't happened in this, that builds and shows why that's emotional and like why that is. At least to me, it does, and like why that is like, because I was like tearing up a little bit watching that. You guys were laughing, so the dichotomy sitting in there with you guys. I'm like, I was like, this is hitting for me right now. It's super emotional. Like the guitar and Ellie knowing how to play music is such a pivotal thing in the games, and like there's just something that is totally missing in the show.
Yeah,
and it's hopefully supposed to come up later, at least from what I've heard. And I don't know, we'll see. But like it's just that scene doesn't mean anything and hit as hard for people that don't know the context of like why that
exactly
is, like so.
It felt all of a sudden like again one of those scenes where you're just like, we're just gonna sit and play Take On Me on the guitar. Now. Yeah. Oh, and Dina's crying. Whoa. Okay, that was really emotional, I guess. And yeah, I totally get
she's emotional, Cody.
True. Morning sickness and stuff. But I totally get your position where you're like, no, in the game though, I've seen like you would have some more context, you would have a background, you would be way more at least emotionally invested in this, as opposed to in the show, it feels very just like, oh, but we got to make sure to plop the guitar scene in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, damn, it does kind of just like it gets put in and it doesn't necessarily come all the way across as it should probably.
Yeah.
But I think, it's not that I didn't get it by the end. It's just sad. Like, I totally can see how you're probably like, fuck, this is supposed to be like really emotional. Yeah. And it's not hitting for people who don't get it fully right now. And it's, like that's just the reality of what it was.
And again, with you, like I was talking about before, it's just like it's not hitting at least. And I don't know, maybe they're trying to make it totally different, but like the things that matter in this are not hitting like they are before. Like Ellie, like the things that you look forward to and the things that you're most excited about are the zombie scenes or learning about the new factions. The things that I always cared about was always coming back to Ellie and seeing what she's doing and how she's dealing with this grief and how she is just recklessly destroying people and killing people and on this murderous spree. Yeah. And they do sprinkle in the things where like she has a relationship with Dina and her friendship with Jesse and a relationship with Tommy, and it's in there. But it's different, and I guess that the percentage of that, of like the emotional stuff to action is obviously going to be very skewed because it's a video game, and you are going to be fighting people a lot and killing people and listening to them talk to each other, and it's going to be a lot more gruesome because of that, and you can't just like add all that into a show. That's just why it's hard. I don't know, what the fuck did they do to make it just work so easy in the first season, but like it's just weird in here. I don't know.
I just think... I don't know, man. Like, it truly, though, like, it's when all, like, the more they subtract from the zombie stuff, the harder it is because like you're losing like in the game, all the story moments hit harder probably like I would think because it's also like you get a relief from the tension of having to be so like locked in of like, man, it's not an easy game per se, but like you got to be like watchful. You can die pretty easily. Dudes are everywhere. There's zombies everywhere. You got to be vigilant. And so when you finally get moments of story, it's like, oh, like a breather for you, and you get to sit back and kind of emotionally invest in the character that you've been sitting there like also like fighting tooth and nail with to just survive. Yeah. Like you're kind of along the right, you're going with them. And then in the show, it's like there's so little time spent with zombies, I'm losing the whole fear of them. That's at times until they slam me with them. It's like, oh shit, that's right. This is happening. Yeah. But then we spend so much time without them, only doing other things. It's a reverse. It's just this weird balancing act that we're seeing probably how much the story at times can hinge on it, or like, I don't know, zombies are weird. It's a weird genre because it's true. It hinges on the real life characters because, well, zombies can only do so much. They are a plot device.
Which also we haven't brought up the smart zombie again yet in 4 episodes.
True.
So that's kind of surprising. They should have come across something on the fucking journey to Seattle.
Something
like a Wyoming.
I was very
Wyoming
surprised.
To Seattle is not a quick job.
I remember thinking like, okay, horseback, Wyoming to Seattle. Oh, yeah, I wonder how long this will take. We're here. We're here. Damn. In like 3 scene cuts, you go from like Wyoming to what feels like maybe Montana and then Washington. Yeah, and you're like, okay, shit. Yeah. 5 minutes has gone by and we're here. The pacing's always going to be tough. Some of these HBO shows every now and then with the time jumps and things, and like having to figure these ways out of doing a cohesive.
Let's not even get started on House of the Dragon.
Like doing a cohesive story with getting characters and act. Like, do you recast actors depending on how big the time jump is? Do you like?
I know they really should have recast.
Yeah. There's so many elements that go into that, but it's tough. It's an adaptation too. You're never going to get it like exactly as is. So there was always going to be a few bumps in the road, I think, and they're doing what they can. It's not like, it hurts because like I said, like I want to love it so much too because I love season 1. I thought it was really, really good. Yeah. Just like most everyone universally did. It was like season 1's amazing. Like that ends on a note where you're just like, fuck.
But this is having a really similar arc to the game.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, this first episode was awesome. Second episode hits, which is basically like the same idea and timeline of in the game. You're like, oh, you play the first few hours. Oh, this game looks so amazing. You have these awesome scenes building these characters. Jackson's super
You're just
cool.
kind of happy.
Joel dies.
You're happy
like, fuck.
Like happy to be back there is just like, hell yeah. And then, getting hit with that moment to just shock you.
And it seems like people are having a similar reaction. I wonder if it's maybe just the gamer people just coming out and just shitting on this thing, or if people are actually having this reaction. I'd like to talk to more people that didn't play the game.
I keep trying to talk to my siblings about it, but I swear to God, nobody since episode 2 has come out has kept up for whatever reason.
Really?
And that means like they just stopped at episode 1. Like they didn't. Not to say they thought it was bad, but for whatever reason, nobody got to that part. And I'm just like, can you guys like? But again, maybe just to the credit of what it is. People aren't as hooked. I'm definitely not as hooked as I was from like season 1 from the pilot. Again, the first game is such an easy shoe-in for how good the story is and how it is a shorter game, but it kind of goes to show like, man, they got that pacing pretty damn well because the pilot did it perfect where they nailed the intro to the game, which is arguably one of the best moments of the first game, I'd say.
Yeah, and they extended out to they extended out in good ways.
They nailed the whole feeling of like really knowing Joel's backstory and setting up in one episode this grizzled older guy who's just fucking like kind of tired of shit and is just here to survive. And you've gotten his whole backstory here, and then you're jumping into this like world you've never understood, and you're trying to learn new people, who's good, who's not, what is good. What are factions?
It's such a cool zombie story because it jumps 20 years. You just go. You're like, oh, we're deep into it. This is where we're established now. It's not like aftermath. Or
you don't need to see the outbreak. Really, like you don't have to spend a ton of time.
You get maybe an hour of you can get maybe like 30 minutes to an hour of gameplay.
They do the cool like I still remember like the pilot. I think it's potentially the first scene where like that doctor dude is just talking about the virus and stuff. And
I forgot about that because that was added to
just kind of like giving a cool setup as to here's a little backstory on what this is, so you have an idea, and just kind of like the tension of talking about it is, and knowing it hasn't broke out yet was really well done. And then you get to hit to like we get it. Zombie stuff is like we've seen it all now.
But when that came out, that was like prime zombie stuff.
Oh yeah.
So that came out, 15 years ago or whatever. Not 15, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Back when the game was coming out too, it's like at the height of some of like the inception of like real zombie craze stuff.
I think that's probably right when World War Z came out.
And close. Yeah, like the character stuff, it's just tough. Some of the character arcs are not hitting, so I'm gonna lose interest, but others are. As they bring in some more other elements, I'm liking it and I'm interested in it, so that's good. Is like the new stuff I'm still thinking is pretty cool. And like Isaac as a character, sick. I think he's cool.
And you'll learn more about the wolves and about the scars, and just learning more about them is cool.
Give Ellie like a torture scene. Maybe that does happen or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like fucking give this girl a true scene to really like show us that she's like tough as nails and badass, or like just has like grit and is willing to like really dig deep at times to do some shit, or like I don't know.
They need to do something. Oh my god, it's just so hard, and I don't want to dive and gripe on this stuff too much. But they need to make her formidable as a foe, not by physically handling people, but by planning things and doing things and outsmarting people and learning how to. Say she busts a trap, she makes it. Say that she like. I'm not creative enough for this, but when the big dude comes through the door, she like sets something up to make sure that he can't like get to her.
Yeah, just something.
Not that she just gets on his back and chokes.
They relied purely on her physical strength.
Yeah, which just doesn't add up, and I get it because that's how she is in the game, and it's cool because Abby, and I think I said this before, maybe in the last episode that we had, but Abby, she's a giant fucking hulking lady, so when stuff happens, she takes down people by like manhandling them and like gripping them and choking them out. And
which they clearly made her look like she should be able to do.
Ellie is a little bit more agile and athletic, and like will also jump on people and get on their back or whatever. But they do this, but they start with her like choking him out and physically fighting him. She sneaks up on people and gets on people and stabs them in the neck with her knife, with her butterfly knife, and that's like how she does stuff. And
all they have to do is do that the first move on him. Don't do the chokehold. Just immediately go for the knife kill.
Yeah, she couldn't. That's it. She couldn't have snuck up on him like you do in the game, and like when she's hiding behind the doorway thing and just
like that. To me is the sensible thing where I'm like, I just want I want her to do the thing that's logical. Why is she waiting for him to get through the doorway, then taking him down with her strength? Yeah, okay. Yeah. And instead of literally sneaking up without him knowing and doing like a hold his fucking mouth and just slit his throat.
Yeah.
So he like that, and then nobody knows. And then you don't have to fucking bust out of this place and stuff. It's like
when the like opening scene was her wrestling the fucking Thor looking dude. I was like, oh boy, oh boy.
Just trying to set up and be like, get ready.
It couldn't have been something core like she like kicks or like sets up like a wooden post to break or something to like break off their space. I don't know, and like break his ankle or something. I don't know, just something where it's like not her physically doing it, and it's her outsmarting him because she's super smart and she can do that.
I think you're right though. Hitting that on the head is like, don't prove to me that she's physically big, because guess what? You're never gonna convince me.
Yeah.
Right now, so just show that she's way smarter. You're dumbing her down now. So that's getting harder and harder to believe that she's smart when you're making Dina be the smart one. Yeah. Out of the two, and it's just
smacking the tank lid.
Holy fuck! What is with why are we trying to make her like? It's the total like. Why are we making what should be a badass girl like this sick ass character who could be like a total like, I don't know, we're hitting on like, hey, she's clearly a very like, she's a gay character, she's a girl, she wants to be like a very badass like oriented thing, and it's like, why are you stripping her of her badassness? Like, why are you taking it away making her dumb? Because now you're getting all those people who want to talk shit, you're just letting them. Yeah. Like, you're really giving them. You're giving them all the ammo, all of the fucking ammunition, and it's like, well, don't just like literally, just make her be way smarter. Like, I don't know. It's like sitting here just picking it apart. But
that's what we do.
Yeah,
that's what we do here at Read Reviews. We pick things apart and bash on it if we slightly dislike it. and glorify it if it's the best thing ever, like Warfare and Severance.
It's funny since I should go back and like re-listen to us talking about season 1 and just hear how vastly different probably my opinions are on things.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't tell you exactly what I said or how I felt, but to know that maybe could exist somewhere if I could find anything of us talking about it.
I have my season 1 review. Go watch
true.
it on my YouTube channel. But those are really short form, quick, like 10-minute videos.
Yeah, I just remember loving it so much more right now. It's just becoming like, fuck, here we go. I gotta gear up for this scene.
God, it's really hitting the arc that the games did. It's interesting. Like in the exact same way that like the first one was just universally loved. Everybody thought it was fucking awesome, super high quality. And then we come into the game, and you're like, oh, everybody's super excited for it. They built their audience. Everybody dives in. The Joel stuff happens, and now it's getting review bombed, and the viewership is tanked, and all this stuff. I'm like, damn, it's like tracking the exact same way as the game. Although the second game still was a major success and still sold like crazy. And
well, it's funny because this is just how it is when you get to split your story up over the course of 7 weeks and drip feed it, as opposed to you get the game and people can beat it in 2 days if they want it.
Yeah.
And then you just post shit and everyone knows, and you just put the video online.
Oh my god, the spoiler things were so bad.
Yeah, so like there is a weird difference in how that happens. Like the timeline in real time of like it's been 4 weeks now of us having to, instead of, oh shit, if I just wanted to, I could look up this whole story and just figure I could just learn. I could if I wanted, but it's so interesting. It's just such an interesting show when it's a video game that exists that, like we said, has just a history already. And then they are doing the same thing and it's hitting the same strides pretty much right in step. And it's
same
like,
but different.
Yeah, it's its own version of it. Just doing things its own way, but hitting the same controversy. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess it was kind of bound to happen if you're going to follow the same story. Really. Yeah.
And again, at the end of the day, I mean, I think Cody's still like you do like the show still, like you still.
Yeah, I feel like I still enjoy. I'm entertained by it. I'm entertained by it because I feel like I'm a dude who can just watch anything and just be like, oh, this shot. Oh, that looks cool. That set piece was sick. The zombie stuff was cool.
Yeah.
I might have like 5, 10, 15 minutes that goes by where I'm just like, ugh.
What happened?
Like,
what's
okay,
happening?
Sure, whatever. But if it pulls me back in at some point, I'm like, sure, all right, here we go. And this, like I said, it's really high highs. There's times when I am locked in, and I'm like, this is sick. Like, this is really good. This is really good. And then there's times where I'm just like, yeah, I'm so out. I'm so much more out than I ever was in season 1. Yeah. Season 1 was more just like trying to figure things out. So nothing felt like when introing.
It's a new world.
Yeah, it's everything was new. And so now that you know so much more, and it's so dependent on purely characters, again, bringing in new characters that feel still so new, but they have so much to say in the plot is like, whoa.
There's a lot more characters and a lot more going on in this. Too.
Like it's
a lot more, and we haven't even scratched the surface.
There are definitely side characters in season 1, but ultimately you have, like most people know, it's Joel and Ellie.
Yeah,
those are the 2 characters you're going to spend the most time with, getting to know the most about, and seeing them from start to finish. Yep. All the other characters just help to get them to the next spot, or like add in another insight to Joel or Ellie and how they react maybe to them.
Yeah, and they do a great job at it, and it's super cool.
So it is crazy to watch though. You take one of those main aspects away from the story. No matter what you think about the story, some people are tied to that character.
Yeah,
like truly tied to this dude who like. This isn't Game of Thrones, like I think we've said too, where it's not it can mirror some of the Ned Starkness, but Game of Thrones was already throwing at you like 100 characters in season 1.
Many.
Like they were already.
It wasn't the only thing you watched in season 1.
They laid the foundation for like there's so many people. Yes, Ned is made to feel like the main guy, and that's the point of season 1. We get to the point where oh shit, they killed Ned. Oh whoa, big time moment. Mm-hmm. But we have 7 more seasons where he is such a great story. He's not a small point. He's pivotal to the plot. Like he's one of the most. He's like one of the most important characters, arguably. But yet he's a starting point for everyone else's true journey that we see. Mm-hmm. And it's like this is tough because we only had 2 characters from season 1, and you took one of them away, and the other one is starting to quickly drift. Yeah. Like. Game of Thrones had 20 other characters that were all like A tier, S tier already. That I'm like, oh, I'm into this. I want to know more. I want to know a lot more.
Yeah,
and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
I think
I'm still enjoying it. Like I think for me, just knowing what happens and being such a big fan, like with Cody having the really high highs and low lows, like mine is a lot more like, oh, okay, this is pretty good, and like, oh, I don't like that as much, and like my roller coaster just isn't as dramatic.
You you have changes like yours sits in the middle more.
Yeah.
Where mine's like fuck. Yeah. I'm hitting these peaks and valleys.
Yeah, and so I'm still enjoying it. I'm having a great time watching it. It's cool to see how things change and how they unfold. And as much as we gripe about things, and that's how it is when we do these podcasts, like it just sounds like you're just bagging on something. Except for when we actually are like something that's actually bad, like the Minecraft movie or something like that. That's what we're there to do.
And truly,
it's fun.
I think most people, it's like it's personal preference. So like we just knew going into it probably that was going to be the case.
Yeah, and that stuff's going to happen. That's just what happens when you do podcasts. You do an hour-long breakdown of something, like that's just the way it's going to be. I do like the show. I do still think this is a good show. And
I think for me, people who might know me, I don't know. I feel like anything I rag on, I'm trying to give like a lot of thought into. Usually it's like
you're invested.
I'm very invested into like thinking this out. If I'm gonna talk this much like crap, I'm still trying to look for the good and see the good and like see it from both sides, or like tell myself, am I overreacting? Until it's like the 5th time I've had this reaction to this character, and I'm like, man, I just can't get over it anymore.
And when you realize, when you get reinforced by not just like one friend or multiple friend, but like pretty much everybody.
It's like, okay, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt. I really am, and it's not hitting at times. Again, that doesn't make it just like, worst show on planet Earth now. That's the thing, is like everyone just wants either the best show on planet Earth or the worst show on planet Earth. There's no such thing as in between. And I wouldn't even say this is mid. I'd say like everything, like production quality, it looks amazing.
The acting is good.
The acting is really good from all, like most characters.
Yeah.
And set piece moments are sick. Again, zombie stuff is still like, if you go into this as thinking it's a zombie show, you're not going to get a ton of zombies.
No, and you don't.
What you do get with any zombie moment is probably some of the best zombie stuff you've seen.
Yeah.
That is, like, I think easily said. Like, I still think every time they get into action mode and we'll see how it goes with factions too, more so. Like, people on people, I think, is like, we're going to have to get into that more. And
like I was saying before, like in the game, there are a lot of moments where you don't have to do anything except for throw a fucking bottle, and then Scars and Wolves and Infected all just start fighting each other.
And that's cool. I think that they're definitely getting to the point of like trying to hit on these, like, hey, everyone's versus everyone at this point. Like, yes, we have people who are in clans and together, but like this is just how the world is. Everyone gets behind the force that you are most like with, and has a good amount of people with it that agree with you. You're accepted. And if everyone ends up dying, and you somehow survive, you're going to join the next group that's going to work for you.
Whatever's going to help you survive.
Like, you just keep going. You just
it's a fucked up world.
But there are people who know each other. Like, hey, we're decked out in military gear. We are wolves. Hey, those dudes look weird as fuck with scars on their face. We are not them. Kill them.
So serious.
We kill them, and they kill us. Like the whole Isaac scene of being like, oh,
don't chicken or egg me.
Yeah,
like, we're not doing this bullshit.
Give me, like, we're gonna go down history lane here of like who started this quarrel bullshit. We're all fucked up, dude. Like, it's so far down, we can't go back to that. Okay, it's too far gone. Where we are is where we are, and it's like, it's true. Yeah, like, and that's how humans are. It's true. It's like holding any grudge for certain people. Like, there's just some things in life you just like hate that kid from high school. You may not have even ever just like said anything, but just for whatever reason, you're like, I just can't see eye to eye with him. No reason not to, but you just can't. Like, I don't know.
And then it's just amped up to a war level of it. And in a post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, and just ramp up tensions of survival and putting resources at line where like truly your survival does hinge on like numbers more often than not. Like, if you could find a community, that is way more in your benefit. Like, way more.
The interesting thing is like, and I was like, oh, I hope they show this and like explain this a little bit, and they did in this episode, which was cool. When they see the scars and they come across them on the trail, which was, I will say, something that did happen on their travel to Seattle. So, but it's not like an action thing, but it is a poignant scene that matters. They see all the scars fucked up, and killed and murdered, and there's a child killed, and then it just reinforces Ellie. You're like, oh my god. Abby and her crew probably, of course, she immediately
that was like, pretty funny.
Abby and her crew did this, killed fucking children, like whatever she's gonna do to reinforce what she already thinks.
Yeah, just a crazy outlandish thing to be like, that group of people did not just like swarm that group of people and overtake them.
Yeah,
there's
exactly
no way, like no way.
But then you come in later and they have the realization that like, oh, then the scars did this and hung these people and chained them up with barbed wire and then gutted them with their intestines hanging out, and then wrote some message in blood on the wall. And they're like, oh,
well, the whole
these
time
people did it.
The show does still a good job of me wanting to pick it apart. Where I like as soon as it hits the moment with them walking upon all the dead scars, same reaction. I was like, Abby's group did not take all these people out. No way. And I'm still sitting there thinking like, I'm not believing that. How am I going to believe that? And then they show like a fucking tank squad coming in with armored trucks. So I was like, oh, that could do
things
it.
Are amped
that could do. Okay,
yeah.
Now you've shown the show like their whole force. Okay, I get it. That's where it's like the show is pulling me along too, where I have to like still simmer down and be like, I'm like trying to be like, ooh, you fucked this, oh that, and it's like
I think
they're doing it. They're still pulling me along and getting me at times where I'm like, oh shit, they actually are pretty well stacked.
I think it'll pull you along a lot more with the faction stuff and the world building, how they show and explain things, and like the uniqueness that they do with the different factions. I think it'll pull you in a lot more with that, even if the unfortunately Ellie stuff isn't bringing you or me in as much as I want it to be.
We'll see. I think as long as the characters. I'm hoping that this first part of season 2 leading into season 3, like it's all continuous. So the first part of this story for the second game is like just trying to hopefully front load and like kind of rush through what feels like I guess some of this exposition and romance to maybe get us to more moments of them together now, and we've already established they're together, and then we can really set in stone way more character stuff that I'll believe, and I'll see way more strife in times of struggle and them coming together more and having to survive and having to go through these ups and downs and things. And it's like, so we are still early, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm excited just knowing what's going on now. Yeah. Based on what you just said, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up here. Got to go pick up your parents from the airport. You actually got a decent amount of time still. It's only 9:50, but we can still wrap up here. I don't want to go through the second half of. I want to talk about Star Wars. I've been watching all the May the 4th happening, and Revenge of the Sith got released in theaters. I watched all the prequels last night. Like I've been hard on Star Wars a lot the last week, but I don't know. We'll see what we can do. We might be missing next week. Unfortunately, I'm going to be in Mexico. And my shift schedule has changed, so I don't know. We'll figure it out. We can talk about that stuff later, but we'll wrap up here. Let us know if you're watching The Last of Us Season 2. Let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know. You better not be review bombing, bitch. Don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole. If you didn't like it, that's okay. And don't review bomb it just because you're mad that a character died. It doesn't mean it's a bad show. I get that you're upset, but don't be a dickhead. Come on. The fuck are you doing?
Just voice your opinion and put it on YouTube.
Yeah, you can do that. That's fine. That's what we're doing. That's fine. But let us know if you're watching The Last of Us Season 2. Let us know your thoughts on it, whether you're liking it, loving it, hating it, think it's the worst thing in the world and everybody's gay now. Let us know. What are your thoughts? Other than that, have a good rest of your day. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.